Hey, what's up YouTube? You are at Multitool Monday. This is the We All Juggle Knives channel. Welcome to my review of this tool. This is the Bessey DMT Shears Multitool. And there's a lot of German on that package, but it's actually made in China. This is the belt pouch that it comes with. Pretty nice. Here is the tool itself. You see it has those red rubber parts on the handles for a little bit better grip. And here is the business end, the shears. It also has two locks, a lock on each handle, and it also has a lock on the shears themselves. Right, to open them, you just unlock that. Yeah, we're going to test this thing out quite a bit in this video, but first, it's got two screwdrivers, bottle opener, metal file, a jab saw, another screwdriver, and a knife blade. Yes, alright, first test, the knife blade on some paper, initial sharpness. It doesn't really come that sharp, you know. The cuts are a bit jagged, it gets hung up a bit. I would give the sharpness, the initial sharpness, like a C-. Right, so step one, you're going to have to sharpen that knife blade. It does a lot better on cardboard, you know, just an easier task overall, the cardboard. So even though it's not uber sharp, it's not useless, you know, you can use it for stuff like this. But yeah, so that's the knife blade. Here is the saw. The saw was actually the most efficient tool on this. The saw did really well. That is just some firewood. It actually did as good or better than my Victorinox Swiss Army saws. Alright, there you go. Yeah, it cut a deep groove in the firewood piece, and that was only in like, how long was that? 20 seconds maybe? So I would give this saw an A, and I think you can also use it for drywall as well. Here is the metal file on an old rusty nail. I'm just using a rusty nail because it allows you to see the part that is actually filed, because it's going to be the shiny part. Yeah, so there you go, you know, a three-sided file. I don't think it's hardened very well, but you can still use it for a lot of things, you know, plastic, softer things. Yeah, so that's the file. Alright, here is the screwdriver, the Phillips, or cross, as I've been told. In Germany, I guess they call it a cross. Alright, but the Phillips screwdriver screwing the good old Kershaw Camp 12, which I've already done a review of, but which primarily exists so that I can demonstrate the screwdrivers on multi-tools. Always the most incredible, exciting part. And you'll just have to, yeah, it worked really well. I assume the others worked, the other screwdrivers. The main purpose. Now, the shears are the main thing on this tool. That's why I saved them for last, because I feel like the performance of the shears is going to make or break, you know, whether people want the tool. Right, so their main purpose, gardening, pruning, it does pretty well, you know. It depends on the diameter of what you're cutting and how hard you can squeeze the handles of the multi-tool. But yeah, in general, this would be highly effective if you need to just trim some, I don't know, trim your rose bushes, trim some troublesome vegetation. Yeah, I think that's the main purpose of this tool. Yeah, so if you're looking for a budget-priced tool, which primarily for gardening and, you know, to have some folding garden shears, this would suffice. You know, honestly, the overall quality of the tool, it's fairly mediocre, I would say, but you have to consider the price. This is $20 or less. Right, so if all you're looking for is mainly something with a good saw and garden shears, then it's fine. But let's demo it on some other stuff to see what else you can do with it. It's actually really good at cutting through clamshell packaging. As you see there, it just will go right through. You know, just that leverage of a full-size multi-tool and those big shear blades. It does excellent against clamshell packaging. So open some Christmas presents with these shears. Here it is on some cardboard. And again, cardboard is fairly easy for something like this. So you see it excels at cutting cardboard. That's pretty good for that. So I don't know if anyone who works in shipping and inventory and that stuff, or whoever needs to break down cardboard, but if you did, it would work. Here it is on a old sheath that I no longer need, just an old machete sheath. And so you see, now that is nylon with some sort of synthetic backing behind it. It did really well at cutting the sheath. Here it is on some paracord. It does not cut the paracord too well. It takes two or three cuts to go all the way through, whereas like a Swiss Army knife scissors would just cut it cleanly in one cut. Yeah, and it was actually a lot better at cutting paracord when I first got it, but after 5 minutes of using it as garden shears, it didn't cut the paracord as well. All right, here it is on a belt, an old belt. It does good at first, or does well at first, excuse me, but yeah, but then as you can see, it's not doing too well. It cannot cut it in one motion. You see there, it just kind of gets stuck in there. Yeah, so not so good on leather. Here it is cutting thin wire. It excels at cutting the thin wire, so if you want to use this as little like tin snips, I guess you could say, yeah, it'll definitely cut the thin wire like it ain't no thing. Alright, a little bit thicker wire. And again, it excels at cutting that wire. So a little bit of snipping. Now, don't go too crazy. You know, it's not going to cut a nail or anything. But fairly soft wire, yes, it can do so. Here it is cutting tubing from a bicycle tire. It can't cut it in one movement, but if you do a bunch of little cuts, you can eventually get through it. Yeah, so not so good on the soft stuff like paracord and the bike tubing. Alright, here it is on just a cloth strap. I'm not even sure what material that is, but it's just a cloth strap like you would find on a freaking fanny pack or a cheaper sheath. And again, it does not cut it in one motion. You kind of have to just like work through it and it will eventually cut it. So yeah, this is not too good on the soft things. When I first got this, it was a lot better at it, but as I said, after only 5 minutes of the gardening use, the shear blades just didn't meet up as well. Alright, this is what I call the bend test. I take different implements on the multi-tool, I wedge them between two boards, and I just assess how far they can bend. Alright, this is one of the screwdrivers. Now, I'm not trying to break it on purpose, because if I wanted to, I'm pretty sure I could snap these, but I'm not here to destroy things on purpose. I'm here to see, like, their tolerances. Now, the purpose of this is just to see, like, how soft or hard the metal is. And after testing, you know, bend testing a few of these implements, I have to say the steel on this multi-tool is pretty cheap. It's not really good hardened steel. I even tested the blades. Now, this was after the demo, because I did not want to bias the demo with abuse, so that was after the demo. One of the locks on one of the handles broke. That lock broke. I just started to close it. I forgot it had a lock and snap. And I was not, I mean, I'd love to say it's because I'm just so buff, but no, I was not applying very much force at all, and the thing just snapped. So yeah, that's not too good. That handle lock broke. Basically, you have to baby this thing, like be really careful of those locks because they're not that strong. All right, final thoughts. Well, it's okay for the price, especially if you just want to use it for the gardening function, because that's what it's good at. It's also good at cutting clamshell packaging, cardboard, and soft wire. However, if you do use it for the gardening, it will quickly become unable to cut like softer stuff like the paracord, the rubber tubing, the cloth, the leather. And the reason it's not good on those is because, well, you saw what I was cutting with the gardening. I was not cutting like hugely thick branches, but even those just like mid-sized diameter twigs were enough to eventually cause the blades of the shears not to meet up as precisely, and it dulled them a bit, and it might have even bent them a bit, right? So that caused it to not be able to cut the soft stuff and very well. All right, and it also is disappointing that one of the locks on the handles broke. So overall, like, the steel on this is fairly low quality. The only saving grace is the price. I'm not going to argue with it for less than 20 because it can still do its basic function of gardening, especially since the saw was pretty good. All right, so this thing just barely passes if you want to use it for gardening. Alternatively, if you want to use these as like kitchen or household shears, it would work for that too, but you have to really baby them. Like, you have to basically never use them for anything that could cause the blades to just not meet up as well. And basically nothing that includes a lot of application of force. I did even try adjusting the pivot screw on the shears just to see if maybe I tightened it up. Maybe it would get better at cutting the soft stuff, but no, it did not. And, you know, even if that had worked, I mean, you don't want to have to tighten that screw after every time you use it for something that just involves like a moderate amount of force, right? So yeah, my quest for a very high quality shears-based multi-tool continues. You know, this is pretty much the cheap and dirty, most budget-friendly option, but I think we can do better. You know, I'm still waiting for a company to come out with something like this that would be of high quality. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this rather exhaustive review. Check out the links in the text description box. You don't have to buy this tool. You know, I'll list links to all sorts of multi-tools, right? Please try to use those links. Do your normal shopping through them. They help support the channel and just keep Multi-Tool Monday rolling. This has been We All Juggle Knives. I'm out.